Welcome to our first video of Simple Carnivore. We are husband and wife, we are parents, and we are busy. We are recording in our car because we have to multitask to get through the day. The channel is that Kevin and I have both been doing. I've had 2 kids. I was a D1 athlete when I was younger, very fit, strong, and then as I got older, I think I was just the most typical person, just putting on. And next thing I knew, my youngest child is 4. However, I had gotten up to my 9 months, about to have a baby weight at the end of last school year. Just had gotten really big, slowly and surely. I didn't even realize it. What really changed for me was my actual health. I'm 30 years old. Health started to really become an issue. I wasn't sleeping good at night. Cycle was painful and out of control with big symptoms, aches and pains when I wake up, stiff joints, everything hurt. I got tennis elbow, I got a hurt shoulder, but for nothing. I didn't do anything to injure them. Just started to be physically uncomfortable. And then sleep was the #1 issue. That's where to start where I was, and Kevin can tell you about it.
I have always struggled throughout my life with weight. It's always the big kid, played sports all through college. As I got more involved with working and careers, and you just don't exercise as much. I did a lot of traveling abroad. That doesn't tend well to always eating out. I've always had a lot of stress in my life. I've struggled my whole entire life with it. And I've done just about every diet there was. Mediterranean to South Beach to starving, fasting, you name it. When Lindsay and I got married, we were active with having kids. It's just your whole life just flips upside down because you take the focus off and it's gone to your children. Today, we're in the car headed snowboarding. It's a date day for us to go do the things that we used to love. It's getting that active lifestyle back. And what was introduced to me with carnivore was a guy named Joe Brown. We're actually at a conference. We were in line together and we were talking. He got his plate. He just put meat on it. I said, "What are you doing? Are vegetables evil to you? Or do you not eat those?" He goes, "No, I don't. I've been carnivore for a year." He told me about his story. Basically the same story of how he and his wife had children and he gained about 50 pounds. He wanted to get healthy, and long story short, he was my first introduction to carnivore. So it intrigued me, and I went down that rabbit hole of looking into was carnivore. I started watching videos from Dr. Sean Baker, Paul Saladino, and Anthony Chafee. Just start to learn about it. And the more I learned about it, the more I was like, I'm a kind of a contrarian anyways. It just really spoke to me. Lindsay and I had both tried doing diets together.
Everything. And for me, carnivore, it is everything we've ever been. Just me and Kevin, society in America has been lied. And I was a D1 athlete. I've worked with nutritionists and strength coaches and all these things, and we just have it wrong. And we're the science of carnivore. It's undeniable. And if you look at the health trends in America right now, all the science and all the research that they've been releasing for the last 50 years were true, then we would be better. Everyone can agree that America has gotten worse. Mental health, physical health, every single marker of health has declined. Our hope is with this video is that we spent months and months listening to doctors, very intelligent, research-based doctors, and it can feel like a lot. Our plan is the Simple Carnivore channel is to we will point you to the people that will give you the scientific research and the information. We just want to talk about what works for 2 busy, middle-aged parents. We both work full-time. Kids are fully 6 days a week. They're doing an activity. We don't have time to sit around and tell you the perfect thing. And there are times where we want to talk about, what do you do for school lunches? What do you do when you go on a trip? What do you do when you go stay in a hotel? Carnivore has created obstacles that are very doable, but it's taken some practice because you can no longer grab a bag of Cheetos for your kid. And we were in a really bad cycle as parents, shame on us, but because we're so busy and we don't get finished with basketball practice till 8 o'clock at night, we were so guilty of stopping at a fast food restaurant or picking up pizza or eating leftover pizza because we'd gotten it the day before. When we reflect on what we were doing, it was probably 4 to 5 days a week that we were eating garbage. And we care very much about our kids and have really put them at the top. We sacrifice a lot to give them the full experience, and we weren't doing it with their food. Now, in retrospect, it's been so easy to switch. And our kids are eating meals now where we cook and we set it down on the table, and both of us look at each other oh, they're going to have a lot to say about this meal because it's just steak on a plate, and they are gobbling it down.
It's been amazing, and what's wild is children learn from their parents. It's just natural, and now what we have been doing, they've incorporated, and it's just been so refreshing to see that They don't know that they're eating carnivore. They don't know. Now, we're not so strict where they don't get treats and different things like that, but it's not the staple of their diet every single day. We make sure that we give them healthy, nutritious food, whether it's eggs every morning, steak, protein.
And there's videos to come like about these details of what has made the changes, but truly we have started really small with them. We don't talk about diets. We don't want them to have, it's 2 girls. We don't want them to have any body image issues. We don't want them to have any disordered eating. So we are very conscientious of how we present things, which is basically like no presentation at all. We don't talk about our diets. We don't tell them, hey, everybody, on Monday, we're going to stop eating pizza. We have just slowly but surely changed one thing at a time, and the results have been amazing. We've had friends, like other kids, friends, parents say, gosh, the girls look great. Like, you guys have slimmed down and they've slimmed down. And my parents, the grandparents, like, they've noticed they don't snack as much. They're not as moody. The results of this have been immense and so wide reaching, from the emotional kind of stabilization. And they were just kids. My kids could throw some tantrums, but I didn't think it was odd. And I'm like, I actually don't think tantrums, and we're talking 6 months, so this isn't like, oh, they grew out of it. I'm like, I think that the food was really creating some inflammation in their brain and their body, and there was an angstiness that was biological, and they reacted with bigger reactions. And it's been amazing. It's been amazing.
And Lindsay works in education, so she's around kids all the time, especially teenagers. And we talk about the diet, that the nutritional lack thereof in the school systems in public education is. And
it's everything that I hear, like a Dr. Shafee or Dr. Paul Saladino, Ken Berry. I love Ken Berry because he's straight to the point. It's like I hear these doctors talk about studies in connection to mental health, and I'm watching it in real life. I'm at it's pretty rural, like suburban high school, so it's got a big mix of wealthy all the way down to welfare, and kids with trauma, kids with no trauma. Like, we have the full gamut. I'm a special educator, so like autism rates are mixed in there, and learning disabilities and all these things. And so I just think some of the things that we will talk about in later videos with specific research data that's coming out is like, I am watching it in real life play out in the school system. And so again, the point is to keep it simple. So we really want to keep it simple. So you're going to get tidbits from us where it's not going to be huge research articles or anything else. But we hope that you like and subscribe and you join our channel, because it really is going to be function first and simple, digestible, quick changes that anybody can do. Because trust me, we were not the ones to be like, we're doing a total lifestyle change and we're just going to crush it. And it's like that wasn't us. We were one foot in front of the other, barely hanging on.
And to give you a little precursor, we'll go into it further, but I'm over 60 pounds. You're over, what, 50 pounds?
50 pounds lost.
And
with very little effort.
Yeah.
We have done cleanses. We have muscled our way through weight loss. And I'm like, this is wild, because the food is delicious. You fill up and you are not like haunted by food thoughts. Like, I just feel like any diet I've ever done, you do the meal prep, you do the shopping, and then you eat the meal, and then you spend the next however long just like, oh, when can I eat again? That was so good. What am I going to have next? Like, it just consumes your thought, and I'm like, this is so different.
And the other great part is that I'm coming from a male perspective. You're coming from a female perspective. We're coming from it as parents. We work together. I'm a planner. Lindsay's not as much of a planner when it comes to that. I've had metabolic issues my entire life. She hasn't. So the cool thing about both of us doing this together is that we're not going to agree on everything, but you're going to get a perspective of a big area, whether it was just me doing it or you doing it. So doing it together is going to be great.
Also, moms, if you're listening, guess who does most of the cooking now? Not me. Because you're grilling. We have a Traeger smoker. It's highly recommend you turn the dial. So a lot of times, you know how I cook for the family now is Kevin will message me and say, can you set the Traeger to 300 degrees? And I'm like, got it. That's all I do. And then a delicious ribeye comes off and the whole family eats it. And it is delicious. Very little meal prep, very little effort. Grocery shopping lists, I mean, tiny.
Yes.
Tiny. And we'll talk about that. Like, we did Whole30, which I love, and I'll be happy to kind of do a side-by-side comparison in another video. But it's like, man, the cooking and the food prep and the grocery lists were so long on that thing, it just didn't fit our lifestyle. We're too busy to do all that. If I was a stay-at-home mom,
it's half the trash.
Yeah.
I mean, we basically don't eat anything out of a box, a bag.
And eventually, like when we get to a year of carnivore, we're going to do a financial comparison, because I'm like, we think we are saving tons of money because it's no more fast food, no more pizza all the time. Like, and then the grocery list, I don't know how, like, let me tell you how my other diets went is like, okay, I went to the store on a Sunday and I got all this healthy food. How much of those vegetables get thrown in the trash? Because by Wednesday, I'm like, well, I forgot to do it, and this has gone bad, and that's gone bad. None of that any waste, any food. Literally,
No.
we cook a T-bone steak, we eat the steak, and then we make bone broth like freaking pioneers back in the day. Like, it is awesome. It's just logical. And again, Simple Carnivore, join our channel, like and subscribe, because the whole thing is so simple. They have overcomplicated it for 100 years, and finally this makes sense. It feels right. Your body reacts immediately. Like, you just know it's what's best for your body the way you feel.
Stay tuned, and we have a lot more episodes coming forward.
Yeah, like and subscribe.